His book totally changed my life, like sales-wise, personal-wise, all the things. And so I just decided right then and there, like, yep, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to go for. So I hired a creative team last summer, and we turned the pitch into a 3-minute video. Super cool. Dude's getting pitched like a billion times a day.
Where it is.
So basically, I decided that I was going to send it to him in a somewhat creative way. I bought an iPad, and I engraved the back of it to say Serhant Scottsdale. I put the video on the iPad, and I FedExed it to his office in New York City.
Welcome, Stephanie, to Real Estate vs. Technology. Excited to get into your story, the backstory, getting into, Serhant, Arizona. You're the first individual to, I don't know if you're the first, maybe one of the first to pitch Ryan on the opportunity of expanding here in Arizona, which is awesome.
Yep.
How long has it been since you guys expanded out here and opened the office?
Just about 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months exactly.
Congratulations. Let's go.
Thank you.
We don't have a studio audience, so we have to hit push buttons over here. And that's awesome. And so as far as like going through the process on today's show, I want to talk about that. Also want to talk about a little bit of technology in real estate.
Yeah.
Where we're going with technology and how, you leverage it also to help you, your business, your agents as well. Mm-hmm. And so before you actually went in and pitched even Ryan, did you already talk to other agents and like build like maybe some individuals up who already wanted to join, or was it just you to start? Let's get into that story. I'm curious.
Yeah, it's really the coolest story of my life. So thank you for listening.
Of course. Of course.
And just a little bit of backstory on me because it's super important to the story, I think.
Let's do it.
I got my real estate license in Arizona when I was 18. And I turned 36 yesterday. So
happy birthday to you.
Well, I can now officially say that I've sold real estate for half my life. So that was kind of a cool marker.
I love it.
Yeah, so super cool. And I'm a third generation realtor. So I've literally been around this business for my entire life. And I found myself in a place early last year where I wasn't sure about any of it anymore. Yeah. The brokerage that I was at for a long time had made some corporate decisions that just didn't jive with me.
Yeah.
I felt kind of disconnected from a place that used to really feel like my family. And values and vision just like not there anymore.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, it did actually get me to a place where I was like, man, like, do I even want to sell real estate anymore?
Wow.
Yeah. And so I went all around town. I, interviewed with a bunch of people. Yeah. And none of them felt right to me. Like, still didn't feel it. And so I actually went on a vacation with one of my best friends, a business partner now. And she had just come from Inman. She heard Ryan speak at Inman. Okay. And she's like, Steph, why don't you go work for Ryan Serhant? I was like, well, obviously I would love to work for Ryan Serhant. Yeah. But he is not in Arizona. Yeah. And she's like, well, why don't you ask him? I was like, interesting concept. Okay. So I do what all nerds do and spent the rest of my vacation with her reading all of his books, listening to every podcast he's ever done, all of that. And basically just like fell in love with the brokerage at that point. His book totally changed my life, like sales-wise, personal-wise, all the things. And
was that Sell It Like Serhant?
Yeah, Sell It Like Serhant.
Love it. Okay.
And so I just decided right then and there, like, yep, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to go for.
Wow.
And so to answer your question, at first, it was just me. Like, it was just going to be me and my team that I was going to go and ask him to do this. And so I set off writing a pitch, huge nerd, went to business school at ASU. I was like super proud of it.
Let's go.
10-page PDF. Okay.
Oh my God. Okay.
Hey, Ryan, here's all the reasons why you should come to Arizona. Here's all the reasons why you should do it with me. Right?
Wow.
And it was 10 pages. This is like March, April timeframe of last year, 2024. And so at that point, he was on $1 Million Listing, of course. I'm not a big TV person, to be honest. So
I'm not either.
Didn't really watch it. No. I'm being honest.
Yeah. Nor did I.
And so, he's like kind of well known, but not super celeb, right? Yeah. Owning Manhattan hadn't come out yet. I didn't know it was coming out. And so I had just written this thing and I was like, well, okay, what am I going to do with it? DM him this PDF? Like, he doesn't know who I am. He's not going to
The first thing I would think, like, what approach do you take?
Yeah, just DM. Yeah. Slide right in. And so I decided last summer that I was going to film the pitch as a video.
Ooh.
So I hired a creative team last summer and we turned the pitch into a 3-minute video. Super cool. The video turned out absolutely amazing. But then I got into this point of like, okay, well, now I have this great video. Again, what am I going to do? DM it to him? By now, during the summer, the show had launched on Netflix.
Okay.
So now he's like superstar overnight. And I'm like, this dude is
no pressure.
This dude's getting pitched like 1 billion times a day. Probably.
Where it is. Oh, no.
I like the voice effects. Okay. So basically I decided that I was going to send it to him in a somewhat creative way, I thought. I bought an iPad and I engraved the back of it to say Serhant Scottsdale.
Ooh.
Which didn't exist, of course. I put the video on the iPad and I FedExed it to his office in New York City.
What? Maybe one of these. Let's go.
That's the one I was hoping for. I hoped you had that.
Dude, that is awesome. I mean, and so from the time you sent it to the time that you actually reached back out, how long did it take? And I mean, the suspense, how did you feel during that time? Like, oh my God, is he going to reach back? When? How?
I was freaking out. Yeah, freaking out for sure. Because basically I just took this like massive investment and of, the money I spent on the video and the time and the clothes and the iPad and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And all the expensive tracking that you can buy at FedEx. And, put it into the mail and like kissed it goodbye, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That was the risk that I had to be willing to take because I didn't know, I had no idea.
No idea.
And so plus I'm like, if it dies, he's not going to charge it first. Like he's got to open it while it's charged. The stress.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love it.
So,
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, he opened it pretty quickly, actually. It was about 2 hours. Before I heard from him. And this is the part where other people get involved in the story because he says to me, now this is late August 2024. So he says to me in all caps, wow, you didn't have to send an iPad. And then he said, we have no plans to be in Arizona, but when we do, ...
Wow.
And I'm like, oh man, okay. I didn't come this far to come this far though.
No.
So he copied a guy on the email that turned out to be his VP of growth.
Okay.
I reached out to him immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I want to find out how we move Arizona up on the list.
Let's go.
What do we do?
Yeah.
He's like, let's talk. So we got on the phone. He was like, Steph, look, you do a great business by yourself, you and your team. But in order to go into any market, we have to have X amount of dollars of volume, trailing 12-month volume. And that it was a big number.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing that by myself. That's fine.
Yeah.
He said, why don't you go and talk to your friends and see if anybody might be interested in coming over? So I said, all right, I can do that.
Yeah.
I said, by the way, are you going to be in New York next week for Ryan's conference?
Yeah.
And this guy was like, yeah, why? He gives me this like puzzled look, thinking I'm a stalker or something. And I was like, well, I bought a ticket. I'm coming to New York.
Wow.
Can I have 30 minutes of your time? He was like, hesitantly, yes, okay, sure.
Wow.
So he made me meet him in like a very public place because he thought I was literally a stalker, a fangirl or something.
Oh my God.
Hilarious. And now he's like one of my close friends, so we laugh about it a lot. But
I love that.
I sat down with him and I was like, look, 6 days ago you asked me to come up with this number. Well, it took me 6 days, but I got you this plus 20%. So Can we talk about Arizona now?
Wow.
And so we opened in we spent the next few months helping build up the business and whatnot, getting ready.
Yeah.
We launched in March officially with 70 agents who had done $750 million of sales in the trailing 12 months prior. So
let's go.
pretty cool.
So then from the time that he got the iPad, so you got the email to him saying they're not interested, to the COO saying that this is the number, to then when you go out there, like how much time passed before you actually were like, okay, like I got the agents, got the number, like how long did it take?
So between the time he told me what the number was and I gave him the agents that he asked me for was 6 days.
6 days?
Yeah,
Let's
6 days.
go.
Mostly because I'm, probably a crazy person.
Yeah.
But I've really latched onto that quote that seems to be flying around Instagram the last 6 months. It's like the one that says something about you should follow the thing that feels like delusion to others, but destiny to you.
Wow. Dude, that is freaking awesome. I love that. And I think the biggest thing is like following your passion, right? And these are AI glasses for y'all out there. I was filming that segment. I'm going to see how that looks after we're all said and done. They get kind of hot and don't want that much around my head for Bluetooth and stuff like that.
There you go.
But there's something to be said about following your passions, right? And like you were at a point where you're like, hey, you know what? I'm just I'm just not feeling it. And I don't know if you're out there, viewing and listening and maybe you're going through the same thing. And before we got on air, we talked about what's happening with this transition with Compass, literally just trying to just take over the market from, almost like I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say almost like a bully, right? Yeah. We got the big money. Let's just buy up all these brands. Let's take them underneath one umbrella.
Totally.
But I love how you were like, I need to find my passion. Where do I want to go? And then, how someone said something that was the catalyst for you to go down this rabbit hole to learn all these things about Ryan, to you then being like it woke you up. There was something that, what would you say was like the catalyst, the wake up moment? I know you said like the books and you were inspired, but like what was it specifically about the culture that made you feel that like this is it for me?
I think I was getting to this place in my career in real estate where I was feeling super stymied by the industry. Like, okay, here are your choices. You can go down X path and do the recruiting business of real estate.
Yep.
Or you can say that you want to be this like luxury agent and you can wear a suit every day and you can say, welcome to 123 Main Street, and I just didn't feel like myself. Like there was no path for who I was in any of it. And reading the books and listening to him, I realized like the reason that he is so successful is because he is unapologetically himself always. Like his creativity is through the roof. And the things that he thinks of, sometimes they're crazy, but they work because it's him. And so it's like that sense of being genuinely, authentically yourself that really made me like fall in love with the brokerage and fall in love with the idea, and also gave me permission to like fall back in love with my business and like understand that the clients who are meant for you are going to find you only if you're in tune with you.
Oof. Let's go. I love that.
Let's go.
The thing that comes up for me that is interesting, and I'm just kind of decoding this as you speak out loud about the whole process, is that people want to be led by leaders that lead by example. And I feel like you look at that picture when someone's behind the desk and they're pointing the finger and they're a dictator. And I don't want to say this for any specific brokerage out there, but I feel like that's kind of what we're seeing in the marketplace. It's a lot of these big corporate conglomerates where Ryan is in the trenches. He is doing the deals.
Totally.
And I think that makes a bigger difference when you go and you're like, yes, I want to be like what? Like, what's my model? I think Ryan's a great model for individuals like, shout out, let's go, AZ Serhant, to have our agents out here really push and really be like, well, man, and he does those videos like day in the life. Here's my calendar. This is what I'm doing. And it's like, whoa, like how do you do that? And it sets a different tone too, because in our industry, as if you don't already know, 90% of the business is done by that top 10% of real estate professionals. So that's like 90% of the agents are only doing a deal here or there. I'll go deeper on this for our specific market. If We Serve has 28,000 members, then only the top 10% of those 28,000 members are actually doing deals. So like, I'll give you an example. Did an expo and we had 28 agents set up strategy calls for liftoff agent within 4 hours.
Okay, cool.
Less than 60% showed, right? And then you got 40% that needs a reschedule, and then maybe 5% that actually shows. And the ones that show can't even afford it. Now, this is no knock at We Serve or anything like that. It just, I think a lot of agents need to really ask themselves, what are they committed to? Because at We Serve, I can, or not We Serve, but Serhant, I can imagine the commitment level to be at the brokerage is at a different level.
It is, yeah.
Right?
For sure. And I mean, he's very upfront and honest. We have about 1,100 agents at Serhant throughout the country. That's across 13 states. That's not a lot, right? To get those 1,100, he's interviewed 10,000 agents.
Wow. Think about those percentages. Wow.
Right. And so he did this crazy video the other day when the Compass news got announced, talking about it, right? And just saying, hey, if you woke up this morning, did you see that?
He was in his Maybach?
Yes, of course.
This guy.
He was.
Good. Hella extra. I love it.
Look, yeah. If there's any word for him, extra is a good one.
Hey, I could relate. I'm right there with him. Why not? Life's too short. Gotta have fun.
Too short. Have so much fun.
Amen. 100%.
Yeah. So anyway, he was saying on this video, hey, if you woke up this morning being forced to wear a jersey that you didn't sign up for, like reach out to us and let's see what we can do, right?
Yeah.
He had like hundreds and hundreds of inquiries right away, just because I think that there is still that need in the industry for people who are, people want to be, like you said in the earlier, like in a family setting, or like, people want to be around people who believe that collaboration is important.
Yes.
And really believe like a rising tide lifts all ships.
Agreed.
So it's really, really interesting to see what an outpouring he had on that day.
Well, I think it's super smart too, because he automatically saw the silver lining and saw the opportunity. So he's like, let me feed into this opportunity with the network I already have to then be able to do the push to bring in more agents. Because also, in contrast too, because anyone's viewing and listening, I think it was now Real Broker just hit their 30,000 agents, I think it is.
Did they?
And I believe so. And so a lot of people are pushing towards that location too, just for contrast purposes, because I think that people do want more of that, right? And that's why I feel like Serhant, and if you want to check out his episode, he's been on Real Estate First Technology, Serhant Hrvata, who used to be their vice president. Now he's just on the board because he went with Layla and Alex Hormozi, and he's doing a lot with acquisition.com, which is totally cool. I think he probably should have stayed at Real. I understand he's exploring other things. And then he was a part of that big book launch that Alex did like $105 million in like one day, which is just like, holy, hats off to him. I got the book around here somewhere. And so it's interesting to see how a lot of agents out there, and we want your commentary, comment down below. We want to hear your feedback. Do you want that? Want to have more of that family environment and want to feel that type of vibe? Because I think, like we talked about earlier, like leading by example, being at the helm, which makes a big difference, and then not feeling like just a number at like a corporate type of situation. And so I want to go back just for a quick second. So when you found those agents to hit that number, how did you even approach those agents in that 6 days to then be able to start attracting them over to the Serhant brand before he was even in Arizona?
Will you sign my NDA and all of these other people that are listening? I'm just
all right.
I'm totally kidding. No, I'm totally kidding. So because I've been in the industry a long time, right? I have a lot of friends in the business, people that I've really grown up with. And I just went to them straight up and said, look, I'm working on something.
Did they have to sign an NDA?
Yeah. I said, this is going to sound crazy to you. But if you'll sign my NDA, I'll tell you, right? And of course, all of them want to know.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to New York to pitch Ryan Serhant. and I mean, that was basically that. And I think, most of the people obviously know who he is, and those were the people that I wanted to go, to work with.
Yeah.
If you don't know who he is, then like I get it. But just not the right fit.
No, definitely not. Yeah. Well, your vibe creates your tribe.
Yeah.
And he's bringing in these individuals that watches his brand. I remember I watched him the first time on just YouTube when he very first kicked off his YouTube channel, and he's running around like a madman through freaking Manhattan. And then I watched him grow. And then Arjun Mortgage, he's in San Francisco. He's a friend of mine. So Neil Holmes, he does the Ford event in Las Vegas. So those are all friends. Shout out to all the guys over there. And so I went to his event, and then I saw that Ryan was speaking, got a picture with him, and I even pitched him on the concept too. And I asked him, I said, what do you think about the idea of, because our whole philosophy is be an area expert, right? Yeah. Like a lot of these parasocial relationships are being built with YouTube. And when my wife and I moved out here, it was like, okay, I come from San Francisco. We've been here for 5 years.
Okay.
My daughter's 6, and my wife, she was a teacher for a number of years.
Love that.
And so she just quit her teaching job 3 years ago. Reason why we said, do you want a refreshment? I probably should have said something. She's an international tea master. So she does handcrafted organic tea blends. Cool. So she's out there doing that. I'm in here doing the real estate marketing stuff, podcast stuff. And I asked him, and I just like stood up. I had the guy next to me record me. I'll pop the clip in on the episode. I said, Ryan, what do you think about, being a mayor of your town? Area, things to do, parks, restaurants, yada, yada, yada. He's like, that's a great idea. I personally don't have time for that. And that's all I really wanted. I just wanted to get that like kind of reassurance, which is super cool. And I can only imagine, like, because there's the line where you get to like take a picture, shake his hand, whatever else, like, and he's just like, you look at him, you're like, holy cow, dude, like, I don't know how you hold this together, and so many people and so many different, like, energy types or people, fans that want to ask you questions. So I got to say, shout out to him for being able to keep it together at such a grand scale.
For sure.
But yeah, so that's when I met him. And then I heard he was coming out here.
Cool.
And then Jen and I were talking, and that's when I was just like, all right, we got to get Stephanie on the show.
He is one of the coolest, most genuine people that I've ever met.
Wow.
And people ask me that all the time, like, oh, is he like he is on the show? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. You know, I don't know how he does it. We just came from Orlando. We had our sales huddle for 3 days in Orlando, and he must have taken like, I don't know, 3,000 selfies or something.
Holy cow.
But every single one, you know, with a smile, like he's happy to do it. Yeah. So he's a great guy.
Yeah. And I think too, for viewers and listeners out there, I feel like one thing that comes up for me as far as how he does it is just like when you're in alignment. When you're in alignment and you're doing something you truly love to do, it's like you almost get all this extra energy and, you know, God, universe, whatever you believe, I feel like it's in your best interest to give it back. You know, it's like, because I don't know. What do you think? Something
that he's been talking about a lot to us lately is like this quote is super cool. He says, when you lead an orchestra, you have to turn your back to the audience. And I just love that from like a leadership perspective, right? Especially in light of like the Compass stuff and all these big mergers and stuff going on is like when you turn your back to like the outside noise, then you focus on the people that you need to focus on, right? To get the job done. And I think that's just a really cool testament to kind of like how he runs the business.
I love that. Yeah. And he knows, you know, I feel like anyone who's at a level of success as his, like, you know, when to say no, and you have to, you know, have boundaries. And I'm sure he can't get back to every single DM or every single email. So he has to have, you know, those parameters around him, which is good. Yeah. And as you grow now, this segment of Serhant for Arizona, what's the intention? What do you want to see for this over the course of the next 5 years?
Yeah, I love that question. You know, for me, I think a big part of the reason that I went after this was because there's so much value and vision in the company that I didn't just want for me and myself and my team. Like I wanted it for the industry and for the state. And a lot of that is around, you know, being creative, going outside of the box, like thinking real estate 3.0 or 4.0. What's the next generation? How do we sell real estate in the future where attention is our currency? Yeah. Right. Agreed. And so, you know, for the next 5 years, like it's in Arizona and across the country, it's not about being the biggest brokerage. That's not the goal at all. It's just quality over quantity. Right. I love it. Making all of our clients, you know, happy cheerleaders for us. Right. Yeah. So what does it look like? So take us through your day of running a Serhant brokerage, running the team, and going through that process. So are you currently not just licensed as a real estate professional, but also a broker? So I am a broker in Arizona. I'm not the designated broker for Serhant. Got it. They asked me if I wanted to, and I said, no, please, no. Really? Yeah. I really wanted the brand to be like, you know, a liftoff, if you will, like a rocket ship for my sales and brokerage. I love selling. I love being with my clients, being with my team. So I passed on that being the designated broker part so that I'm full-time sales. Wow. Good for you. That's awesome. And so is that kind of like what is expected if you're the full-time broker? Then it's harder to be able to like still do the transactions per se, because then you would have different responsibilities, I can imagine. For sure, yeah. So our designated broker is basically managing the 90 agents that we have now. So he's doing the day-to-day management of agents, you know, helping them grow their businesses, doing contract questions, you know, putting out fires when they come up, that kind of thing. More so than sales. Yeah, most definitely. So you're like the founding mother of the Serhant basically division of Arizona. Yes. And then as far as finding that broker, did that happen after you decided, or they decided that they are going to be coming here because you had those agents? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah. So they interviewed a handful of people for that role. Todd Lee is our designated broker. So shout out to him. He's fantastic. Todd Lee, what's up? Let's go. Maybe we'll get him on the show too, so we can hear how he manages everything. So I want to go a little bit deeper for the individuals who are listening and viewing on the tech forefront. So real estate versus technology, a little bit about real estate and tech and how tech is used within real estate. I know there's a lot of agents out there that feel like tech is against them. And it's like AI and this and that. And oh my God. And how many agents out there could you relate to this that like, it's hard to keep up,
right? Because it's always ever changing. Hence, that's why you hire a company to help you with the process or go with a brokerage that can help you with the process. Shout out to Serhant and also our sponsor, Liftoff Agent. So let's go a little bit deeper into the tech. Like what's different within Serhant and what do you love about what they offer?
What's not different?
Right? Right?
I love that. So there's probably two things that I would touch on most. One is AI and one is the app that we have. So Ryan built an app, paid for someone to build him an app, I'm sure.
Had the idea.
So it's called Simple.
Yep.
And the idea behind the app was that he wants real estate agents to be screenless. In an era where all of us are constantly looking at our screen, right? He has this idea that agents should and could be screenless because we do our best work, our most productive, per hour stuff when we're in front of our clients.
Yeah.
Right? And so the basis for the app is that, you can open it and just say what you need and you'll get it. So whether that's marketing or database management or sending a text or putting in a reminder, it's all right there. The click of a button, which is really, really cool.
I love that. So what would be an application you would use on a daily or weekly basis that you love?
Yeah. So I would be able to basically, let's say I go to have coffee with somebody new. Okay. Or let's say even before that, let's say I'm just in a Starbucks. Yeah. And I walk in and I'm chatting with somebody in line with me, right? I get their contact information because we're chatting. Yeah. I could get in my car, open up the app, and just start talking to it and say, hey, remind me that I met this guy named Jim at the line in Starbucks. He's got a dog named Cutie. He lives at blah, blah, blah address. He's thinking about selling maybe in the next 2 years. His email address is this. Can you please add him to my database? Make sure that he gets my newsletter that I just sent out and put him automatically on my email campaign for someone who's going to sell in the next 2 years. And all of that's done in a matter of seconds.
Dude, let's go. I love that from the perspective of technology because, who out there is viewing and listening? And I think the biggest issue is for agents in the 2025 era is that they'll be great with strategy. They might have great social media presence. They might have lots of views, but then the problem is the automation of the systems behind the scenes. Yep. And I love that is AI generated and it's the next level to even connecting with your CRM and the email campaign, sending out text messages. And so if it's AI enabled and it's connected to your CRM, I can imagine. So then is it something that you would speak to the AI? So if you wanted to say, I want to put together a sequence of drips that would be text and we'll say text and email enabled. That would be for after the close to stay on top of mind with a past customer that bought a home 123 Main Street. Yep. And then you could go through the sequence and it'd automatically not just set it for the one time, but set it for all of them. Yep. Interesting. And is it pretty accurate?
Yeah, it's very accurate.
Wow.
It's new, right? It's new tech. And I kind of tell the tech team all the time, like, I'm trying to break it, which they love, of course. Yeah. They want to see like how agents are interacting with this, like what extra features can they add to it. But so far it's been awesome, like very, very accurate. Yeah.
I love that. That makes a whole lot of sense because like even myself, like as a CEO of Liftoff Agent, we use Follow Up Boss, right? Okay. Industry standard for real estate industry. And it's great. And there's a lot of automations, but then I leverage the team to do the automations for the email marketing campaigns or what have you. And then for us, we have like something kind of like DocuSign called PandaDoc. So where I can go in and I'm looking at like the bottom of the funnel, like the low hanging fruit, like the ones that are like, hey, I'm ready to make a move now. Yeah. And then, someone that you meet at the coffee shop, great example, they might be 3, 6, 12 months out. So it's a little bit of a different process. Sure. Interesting. Yeah. I like that. I like that feature.
Well, and that kind of ties in really well to the AI side of things, right? And we have at Serhant in general have spent a lot of time and energy and classes and resources on AI and learning AI to the point where I told my coach a couple weeks ago, he was teaching me about agentic AI. And I said, this feels like an unfair advantage.
Right.
He said, it is. And that's why you should be glad that you have it. And so,
let's go. Just reminding you out there.
Right. So I think, just going full in on that, I've been telling my team, like, we can't put AI back in the box. Okay. So either you're using it already or you're already behind.
Yes.
That's how I feel about it, truthfully.
Yeah. 100%.
And so like knowing how to prompt it is the difference, I think, between like the people who will be really successful with AI and the people who won't.
Yes.
And, you know, if you know how to prompt it well, for instance, you could go in there and ask it to write that series of texts and emails and build in personality profiles for that person you meet at the coffee shop, and then have all of those follow-ups, you know, be specific for that person.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I think the only thing that's going to be something for our viewers and listeners that might be an unfair advantage as well is the connection, right? So you have everything's like, so ChatGPT is over here, then you have like, say your emails over here, and then you could give it the prompt to ChatGPT, but this is the issue. A lot of agents are either working on in their business. I just talked to Lisa before our podcast, and she's like, you know, I really love everything. I just right now, 12-hour day yesterday. Yep. There's the work on, the work in your business. I'm working in my business right now, so I just don't have time to work on it.
Yep.
But when it comes closer to the holiday season, then we can have a conversation. Cool. Talk to you in a month, November.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where it's just like you have an unfair advantage because your system has the integration within the CRM.
Yeah.
So then you can give the prompts with the AI so that it can automatically go in and start doing the work.
Sure.
Instead of like a lot of people out there, they actually have to first think of the prompt and they're at an AI class or whatever else. And then what CRM system do I use?
Yeah.
And then does it actually work together? That would be your best bet. And if it doesn't, then you have to be the person, the catalyst that sets up the buyer funnel, the seller funnel, the different prompts, which is a little bit more of a process. So
when I say unfair advantage too, I don't mean like necessarily just me being at Serhant too. I mean unfair that I know it in general, right? And I think anybody out there can go and learn it if you can just dedicate the time to doing it. And I've been learning about some of these integration tools. I'm sure you know way more about them than me, but like the ones that connect the AI. There's a lot of cool things out there.
Yeah.
Especially for agents. I'm sure you know tons about those.
Yeah. 100%. And I think another thing too that's missing, and I'm curious to go a little deeper on this side from the front end perspective, is that I think a lot of agents forget about the fact that, you know, one, they don't know what like an SOP is or a KPI is. And so they can focus on the income producing activity. And then two, it's like, say a website, for example, it's just cool. It's pretty. It's a digital business card. Yeah, you can search for homes, whatever. My broker gives it to me. It is what it is. But I feel like what a lot of people forget about is the fact that there could be like a welcome video when you go on the website. There could be a buy, sell process video, sell side process video. There could be maps. There could be guides. There could be download opportunities where it's like, I feel that if someone can't follow a process, then do you really want to babysit them over the phone?
Great.
How many people have you met like that, right? That you had to follow through, or, you know, they're making you jump how high? And then you're like,
before you even start. Yeah.
Exactly. And you're like, well, do I really want to work with this client?
Right. Well, back to the point about like attracting your people.
Yes.
You know? And I mean, you got to set up your tools to attract the right people that that are meant for you. And if like having a hectic client is not for you, then you got to have a process that they can follow.
Exactly. And
concept.
So curious about the process on the front end. So what does Serhant have? How do they help you on the front end? I know they probably give you a website or whatever else, but is there some front end tools where maybe I'm saying front end tools where like kind of out of sight, out of mind for you, but then the consumer, if they find you because of a social post or they find you because maybe, I don't know if Serhant agents out there are on YouTube, right? And then they go through the process of like going to your website or going to, some people like using, say, like, what's the one that you use on Instagram?
Well, Linktree, yeah.
Yeah, Linktree, right? So on the front end, so what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the coolest parts about being at Serhant is we like to talk about how we're the most followed real estate brand in the world.
I love that.
Like between all of the platforms.
Yeah.
Like 8 million followers or something like that. I don't even know. That doesn't sound like enough. But anyway, there's a lot.
We'll just say 16. No. 16 million.
I'm not that kind of realtor. Just like double your numbers immediately and go with it.
Top 1%. What do you mean?
Top producer according to my mom.
According to 2020. It's okay. No stab at you personally.
Yeah, anyway, so I think, you know, a lot of people do leverage kind of the social aspects, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, you know, there's a lot coming from that stuff for sure. And then just funneling them into websites or DMs, setting up auto forms in Instagram has been like a really cool one.
Oh, nice.
Just because that is like something that, a lot of people look at.
Yeah, it's huge. 100%. I love that. And so when it comes to marketing, like, is there a roadmap that Serhant has already laid out as far as like, if you want to reach out to, because I feel like at a certain level, like from Serhant's perspective, like Ryan, like he's already built such an amazing network where like he has a YouTube channel that he's marketing to his future clients, like 20 years in the future already, you know? So it's a little bit of a different ideology. And that's why when I asked him that question at the event, he was just like, yeah, great idea, but not for me because I already have so much going on. What do they roll out? Is there like ABC plan for marketing your business? Like, is there any standard procedures they roll out when you do join the firm?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of training, right, on like deciding how you want to run a real estate business. Just like, just like I think a lot of people, right? Do you want to focus on your sphere? Do you want to be open houses? Do you want to be social media? Do you want to do door knocking? I think a lot of Serhant agents tend to be more sphere of influence based and just past clients, that kind of a thing. So there is a lot of training around that. Certainly there's marketing plans in place that we have for listings.
Awesome. Cool. No, that makes a whole lot of sense. I love it. So now that we've already, can't believe like 37 minutes in later, we got into a lot with, the Serhant side, the brand, you establishing it, all the things, but let's get into like 3-year generation. In real estate. So this is your parents' parents that started and natively here in Arizona?
No.
Because you went to ASU, so then you moved here. And then where are you originally from?
No, I am from here.
Oh, you are from here?
So my parents were not born and raised here, but I was born and raised in Phoenix. Yeah.
Okay.
My worst bad beat real estate story. Real quick for you.
Let's go.
Everybody's got one, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's like, oh man, I wish I this, that, and the other. So my grandparents moved to Phoenix in the like late 50s, early 60s.
Okay.
And they bought, a normal little house.
Yeah.
Where they wanted to live. They had some leftover money. They're like, let's invest in some real estate. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Why not? So they were kind of approaching 2 different properties that they had their eye on. One was this like very beautiful northern Arizona, getaway, right? It's going to be like beautiful homes in the pines, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
The other was this like dusty piece of dirt on the very outskirts of town that nobody had heard of.
Yeah.
Boring, flat, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You see where this is going, I'm sure. Anyway, they picked the one in northern Arizona that would later become the land where the land fraud king of Arizona did his whole shtick. And the other one that they didn't buy was the corner that later became 24th Street and Camelback.
Oh, so my.
Your girl over here has to work in real estate because I'm not a trust fund baby. But anyway.
Dang, you're so close.
So close.
So close.
So close.
And that's the thing with life too, is like you can make one decision that can literally just, and in today's day and age, it could be crypto, it could be real estate. You might think, lottery ticket. I mean, it was like $1 billion lottery. Like, what the heck?
That's crazy.
And it could totally, it could totally change your entire trajectory.
Yeah.
So they moved out here, they got into real estate, and then your family. So did they have like an independent brokerage?
For a long time.
Oh, okay.
So my mom and I worked together at our own brokerage for a very long time until we joined the one that we were at right before I came to Serhant.
Okay. And so still practicing, your parents?
Yes. My mom is. Yep.
Nice. Did she join Serhant?
She is. Yes.
What'd she think about it? Like at first when you like showed her Ryan all the things, was she like, let's go, skeptical?
Yeah, she gets it. And, I think the cool thing is that she and I have always been like a fun mix of old school and new school.
Yeah.
And so, as long as she has a cell phone and her contacts written down, like she's fine.
She's good. So she's not jumping in the AI app and like talking?
She's, you know what? I'll give her props because she is like writing her listing descriptions with ChatGPT now. And, like she's getting there. She's getting there.
Okay.
She's willing to try it, right? So that's cool.
That's awesome. And so when you were growing up and you saw them in real estate, like what was that catalyst for you to be like, yeah, I want to do the same thing my parents are doing? Like,
that's a great story. Actually, when I got my real estate license when I was 18, I did that because that was like kind of the expectation in my family.
Yeah.
Plus I felt like I already knew most of the answers to the test as it was.
Way ahead of the game.
Unfair.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not selling real estate. That's what my parents do. I literally, that's how I felt. So I did go to ASU and got a couple degrees.
Okay.
I didn't jump right into the real estate business. I actually went to Los Angeles for a couple of years and did consulting in a totally unrelated industry.
Okay, there you go.
And the catalyst was I was working something like 80 hours a week in this consulting firm. And when I was 22, I ended up in the emergency room at UCLA because I had an ocular migraine, which I didn't know what that was. But what I knew was that I couldn't see.
Oh my God, scary.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm 22 and I'm dying. What is happening?
Whoa.
It's not good.
Yeah.
And, I kind of decided at that point, like, I'm the type of person that is going to work this hard no matter what. It's kind of built into me. And I would much rather be working for myself and my family and my legacy than building someone else's dream. So,
100%. That's so overworking or something, or?
Yeah, for sure. Staring at a computer for 18 hours a day.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Wild.
It's so true. And I think the thing too is even when you start getting into your own thing, it's a day. It's an everyday process to remind yourself like where you came from. Why are you here? What are you doing? Like the moment, like at the beginning of the show where you're like, man, like I'm just not in it. Like almost it seemed like a catalyst to you get out of real estate, but then you went into a different direction and then now you're back in alignment and with an amazing organization, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's so easy for us out there to compare, right? And think I'm not good enough because this person or whatever else. And it was interesting this morning, I just did a video on it. It's like the Compound Effect, really good book. And it talks about having, the compound effect from the perspective of like, that you start at the top of the hill, it's just a little pebble, and it rolls down and gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it gets to the bottom. And I feel like Ryan's done a really good job at that. And, if you're viewing and listening and you have people around you, right, your circle, like, what you do daily and the reminders and the working out and the meditation or what have you, like to help you keep that momentum.
Yep.
And I feel like Ryan is in such a momentum right now where almost like, and I'm just going to play devil's advocate, like at what point is it unhealthy?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sure.
Because once you get to a certain level of performance and people almost expect you to perform, at what point is it like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, can I only perform at this level for 5 more years, 10 years, 20 years? I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you even said earlier, like, how does he do it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, props to him again, like for building what he has built. And
for sure.
The team, around him is absolutely insane.
Really?
Like, some of the hardest working, just greatest, most genuine people that I've met.
Wow.
And like, I've never felt as supported by a brokerage as I do this one. And I think that's really a testament to like how he does it, how he's going to keep going is your people, right?
Yep. Amen. 100%. Just like, contrast to obviously because it's, heavy right now is the Charlie Kirk thing. And he's here in Arizona and Turning Point and rest his soul and God bless. And it's like, man, the people behind him to keep his legacy going, even with Ryan, like, he's already done such a good job. And that's what we have to do as business owners is build such a good foundation. So when you build the house, it's not going to knock over.
Yeah. Well, and I really love what you said earlier, just a minute ago, kind of going back to, momentum and like not comparing yourself. I think that this business can be so isolating and so like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing as much as this person, or I'm not putting out as much content as them, or I'm not doing this, or I'm not doing that. Right. And some people might look at my Instagram and be like, oh, look at Steph. Like she got it together. She opened this brokerage. Look at her life. Right. And like, the cool kind of story, the cooler story to me is like the backstory of what was going on for me, like Q4 of last year during all of this stuff.
Yeah.
It was actually like one of the hardest and darkest parts of my life.
Wow.
The day that I got back from New York, the first time when I flew out there to meet him, my dog died, who was like my spirit animal dog, like the one that, like really gets you. And a couple weeks after that, my ex moved out because we were getting divorced. And a few weeks after that, the sewer line under my house collapsed. And I literally had to tear up my entire house and remodel it from like the absolute, bottom.
Wow.
And it was brutal, right? And meanwhile, like all this Serhant stuff is going on and it sounds really cool to talk about now, but I had no idea if it was going to work. It was like such a shot in the dark. And I love to tell the story now because I think that like during those days, every day felt long to me. Like, gosh, what am I doing? What am I doing here?
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm doing the comparison thing. I'm seeing everybody on Instagram. I'm seeing everybody that's like got this crazy success that's all overnight. Right?
Yes.
And now I look at it and I'm like, man, those days were so long, but that was 12 months of my life. And if you just decide that you want to change it, you just do it. Like you can change your life if you decide.
Dude, 100%. And you look back at that 12 months and it was a flash.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here.
And we're
reflecting back and looking at that. And it is so true. You could look at someone, influencers, social media, you think everything is rainbows and sunshine, but you really don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And now, not to get into hot topics, but Ty Lopez, right? Now there's all these alleged, like he bought up all of these brands that were basically Radio Shack and Bed Bath Beyond. And apparently it's this Ponzi scheme for $112 million that now he basically is in this settlement or this lawsuit. And so, it's not always what you think of the people that you follow.
Yeah.
In real estate, it is very much a singular game because, unless you're going to the office every single day, you're in the car, you're going to the house, you're doing the formal listing presentation. You might be thinking whatever thoughts before and then even after, if it didn't go as well as maybe you planned, the social media content, like it's so easy. Is it going to work out? Is it not going to work out? And it's, and I was just doing that yesterday and I was talking to my wife this morning about it. I'm like, why do I even care? Why am I comparing myself? Like, I don't need to do that. And it's so easy to do.
And a really cool point about that is that like embarrassment is probably the most underutilized emotion that we have, right? Like, use it. Why not? Like, why not try something different? Like why compare? Who cares? Put yourself out there. Again, like you said it earlier, but you attract your, how did you say that?
Vibe creates your tribe.
Vibe creates your tribe. There we go. Sorry. I knew it rhymed and it was good. Yeah. So why not? Like life's too short to not just try something creative and not worry about comparing.
Yeah, 100%. And just like this podcast, like Jen and I didn't know if you'd come in and what that would look like. And then we actually had one of your agents on. And so he came on. And if you all want to watch his show, that I want to say is... was
Charlie.
Charlie. Yeah, Charlie. He was on like 2 weeks ago. I was going to go to the Instagram, but Charlie.
Yes.
He was on.
Charlie.
And then he sponsored Jen's past employment school and helped out with the golf tournament in the school and what have you on that side, which is really cool as well.
Yes.
And he came up in his Porsche and I have a GTR and we talked cars a little bit, which is super cool. And he's talking about the place that he has his car. There's like a car hangout lounge, whatever in Scottsdale. Auto. Yep. And he was talking about that, which is really cool too.
It's such a cool spot. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
You got to check it out.
I haven't. And I actually have an aspiration, a dream to do the Warehouse Collective.
Oh, cool.
So kind of like that, but a place where like entrepreneurs can go for podcast room, which could just be something generic with a TV up here. So this is kind of like the model for that.
Okay.
My wife wants to put like a tea corner little section. Then you can have headshots, filming content room, car storage, and then even get into like the cold plunge, the red light therapy, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then even have something for like the moms out there that are single that have kids.
Okay.
Where they can then have their kids little daycare.
Okay.
So it could tie in a really cool entrepreneur kind of experience and do something different. So I don't know.
Don't leave out us dog moms. Okay, we got to have like a little dog sitting area too. Dog friendly.
Hey, we're getting to the next level of this concept. But I want it to be community focused too.
Yeah, I love that.
So, I already have a lot going on. Like in this house alone, we already have 3 Airbnbs.
What?
Yes, we have upstairs, and I'll show you after our show. We actually built a studio apartment in this house.
Whoa.
Which is super different.
So cool.
Putting that online is so weird because you're like, it's not an apartment, but it is an apartment, but it's in a house. So you have to walk through the main house.
I was going to say, do they have to come through your front door?
They do, and we could have built it so they didn't have to.
Okay.
But the goal is we are looking for someone long term because our team's in the Philippines. So we travel internationally to the Philippines.
Okay.
And then like next week I'll be in California for a week. My partner's up in Oregon. Cool. And then we want to buy up north, probably by this time next year, have a house up north. And so either Boulder Creek in Payson, that's a cool little like luxury area, or we go a little higher to Payson and or Strawberry.
I love Strawberry.
Snow and just it's so beautiful. We drove through there on accident coming back from I want to say it was like Sedona.
Okay.
And we drove through like that back road that takes you all the way through and we're like, what is this? We saw the strawberry sign and I'm like, This is sick.
It's so pretty up there.
Yeah,
Oh
we were just up because my father-in-law just bought in Deer Creek.
Okay.
We're up before Payson.
Okay, cool.
And so he has his house. We were up there hanging out and having some fun. But yeah.
Christopher Creek?
No.
It's like on along the rim.
Okay.
Right when you're going up the Mogollon Rim. Oh,
really?
That's my favorite spot.
See, people don't know.
Pretty.
They don't know about Arizona like that.
Yeah.
I had no idea either until I started to explore a little bit. And I'm like, there is snow. There is an up north. There is pine trees.
Yeah.
I was like, this is sick.
Yeah, like an hour and a half away from town, depending on where you live.
Yeah. Right here, we go straight up the 17. We're up there super quick. And like father-in-law's house, like hour.
Yeah.
You know, Strawberry, hour and a half,
which
isn't bad at all. And it's beautiful over there by the Superstition Mountain. When you go to where the Salt River runs down and there's Dutchman's, it's like literally looks like, I was like, are we like in the Arizona version of California's Yosemite?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like the same so big rocks and beautiful. It's just like, don't get any ideas out there, okay? Don't get any ideas.
I love when people tell me like what a brown, boring, colorless desert I live in.
Yes.
Like, you have no idea.
We have some of the best sunsets.
Yeah. Spectacular.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then the energy I feel like here is different. There's I go back to California. I was up in Oregon. Partner wanted to be there. Whatever. He likes the cold. Shout out Smith. And it just was heavy.
Yeah.
We're running. People don't really look at you. They don't wave here. Neighbors are nice. They brought us cookies when we moved in. We're like, this is like California like 20 years ago.
Love that.
I love that so too. Sweet. And now we're considered the purple state, which is cool.
Yeah.
You know, and then we have like Charlie Kirk was out here. I didn't even know that until I heard all the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Turning Point. And there's so many entrepreneurs out here.
So many.
It's becoming more and more of like it's like a hot spot.
Well, the cool thing is, you know, we had like the prop tech sandbox legislation years ago that really was kind of the impetus for a lot of those businesses being able to be in Arizona. We got big stuff happening.
Big stuff out here.
Meta, like Arizona.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, over here too on our side, Gilbert area, there's by Superstition Mountain, there's like a bunch of new builds. And I'm like, man, they're coming up for like 200,000-300,000 for like 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I'm like, honey, you want to buy a couple properties and put those up for rent?
Now's the time.
Like it is now.
Do you need a good realtor?
I know, right? We might just have someone with Serhant. No, but no, it's cool. It's cool. I definitely love it out here in Arizona. So if y'all want to come out here and come experience it for sure. For you and then in Serhant, do you have your own team within the brokerage?
I do.
You do?
Yep.
How many in your team?
It's a little team. So I've got 3 full-time agents that work with me. Yeah.
Okay.
We're having a great time.
There you go.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's better just to have a great time and enjoy each other and not have to make it overcomplicated. Because sometimes it's like, I look at even like Ryan and I think to myself, like, do I really want to get that big? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see where things take me, but
it just depends.
It just depends. Like, you know, and it's this balance, I think, is the most important thing in life.
Sure. And, you know, again, like being with your people, right?
Yeah.
Do the people around you like help your mission? Can you help their mission? Do you understand their why? Do they understand yours? And if you're not aligned with all of that, then like having a big team doesn't work. Yeah.
No, it is so true. I think the one thing growing and scaling an organization is making sure that you do find the vibe that creates your tribe and making sure that you're all on the same level and understanding where you're all going. And it's so important. And a huge shout out to Ryan for the fact that he found an amazing individuals around him to then support that, because it's so easy, I think, sometimes to become envious or look down upon someone or wish ill will. And a lot of times you're not even trying to do that to the person. It's you're self-sabotaging yourself.
Sure.
And then by default, it comes out as like almost like you're kind of lightweight hater.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it sucks when that happens, but I've dealt with it. And it's one of those things where it's like, and you know, there's that kind of, I don't know if you ever dealt with the difference between being respected and liked and the balance between respect and like. Yeah. And then when you're a leader with your team and like you see maybe something comes up like a self-limiting belief or something where you kind of have to check them.
Right.
But that's where the respect comes in, where they respect the fact that you have their best interest and you're trying to balance that out. It's a process.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. I mean, I've had a team for, I don't know, 10 years now. And I've learned a lot of lessons the hard way. Right. You know, and I think that's just part of it. Part of business is growing always, right? Being open, like being willing to have a conversation, even if it's hard. Like you said, if you have that kind of foundation of trust with people, then you can you should always be able to have those conversations even when they are hard.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So then if anyone's viewing and listening and they want to join the team, your team, or just in general, reach out, send a DM.
Yeah. Send a DM on
Okay.
Instagram. That's the best way to find me.
Okay.
Stephanie.bray.az.
Let's go. I love it. We'll put all the links down below so you can be able to like, follow, connect.
That'd be awesome.
I'm super excited to get this one out there and share it with our audience. And I really appreciate the time of you coming in. And how far was your drive?
22 minutes.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Not bad.
You Scottsdale?
Tempe.
Tempe?
Yeah.
Oh, even closer.
Center of town.
Yeah. There you go. That's super
More and more.
sick. Yeah. Right. It's crazy. Tempe is amazing. And there's so many Tempe Lakes. I just learned about that like literally just a few months back.
Crazy, huh?
Which is crazy. There's just so much. And then now they're talking about these water parks. And we have one that just opened up down the street here.
Okay. Have you been
One of the biggest service parks and outdoor service parks. No. I haven't been there yet.
I haven't either.
Yeah. It was free. We should have went and we didn't go. And now summer's over and it's like, sometimes you get so focused and you're like, you're on a mission.
Next summer.
Yeah, exactly. So if there was something that you would like to leave the viewers and listeners that they can apply to their business today, there's so much that they learned throughout the episode, what would you want to leave them?
Not being afraid to be fully and authentically yourself. You'll attract the people that are meant for you. Not everybody's for everybody. But if you really are just in tune with yourself and in tune with what you're trying to do and your mission, then you will attract the people that are supposed to be with you.
Dropping bombs. Let's go. Man, Stephanie, this has been a pleasure. I appreciate you driving out, being on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been
Of course. Adding value to our community. And that's our intention. At the end of the day, it's just pouring in and just being a catalyst and then giving them a catalog of episodes that they can go back and they can check out and they can see what works best. Because it's one thing to say like, oh, we're the best marketing company or whatever, or sign up with us today or, yada, yada, yada. Run a bunch of ads. But it's another thing to like be service first.
For sure.
And being here for 5 years and still growing as far as in this market community wise, like sponsored event tonight. We're going to be doing a little We Serve thing tonight and got some wireless mics on the desk and we'll be giving away for the free gifts.
Love it.
And, Serhant's out here now and love to collaborate with you guys and anyone you think that should be on the show. I always like to have like this show be the catalyst to additional shows of whoever you think can contribute to the story that we started with.
Cool.
It's almost like writing a book.
Yeah.
Right? So
for sure.
who's going to be in the next chapter?
Who's next?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I love it.
Send in some people.
Let's do it. And thank you. Thank you, our viewers and listeners out there for checking out our show. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It is our intention for you to take things from our show to apply to your business. And so you can have more massive success. And we'll see you all on the next one.